Well, hello. Hello, my fellow sensitive people. You sexy, sexy vixens on the other end of this video. I see you. And let me tell you, I know all about you because I am a whimsy. I am a professional remote viewer. And gosh darn it, only the smart, sexy people come to my channel. And the sexier you are, the more often you like this channel. And the sexiest people subscribe. And if you want to be uber sexy, you can become a member. Okay, we need to talk about so many things. First off, I'm letting my hair grow out a little bit gray. You're probably asking, is this a fashion statement? In a way, it's coming out so beautifully. I am not able to see my hairdresser for the next couple of weeks. People are traveling, and I could get in. I could have gotten in. Was it this Monday? But anyway, something came up. Anyway, the point is that I think it kind of looks good. What do y'all think? This is the part he always gets rid of, and we're letting it grow long. And I just think it looks pretty. I don't know. I guess I could have gotten him in for an emergency or something. Brian. Yes. Anyway, so that's what's going on with me. I'm doing well. What are we going to talk about? A couple of things. The energy that's been coming up for the collective is to trust yourself. When your gut tells you that something is not right, when it tells you that you shouldn't be signing or investing, and everybody's telling you now's the time to buy property, be careful about the hype. Also understand that TV is run on advertising. So if there's a bunch of hype that you have to have this particular car or this particular insurance, et cetera, and everybody runs to buy it, it's because somebody's pushing you to buy it. Tomorrow, Chuck and I are going to be doing a huge discussion, speaking of hype and the media. I'm taking a course right now in multimedia, and I think it's really interesting how we are sold certain things. But Chuck and I on Taco Tuesdays, hopefully you'll be able to join us. We're going to be talking about the Illuminati, fake versus real, who's in, what's real about the Illuminati versus, the crazy. So we're going to go through it, the whole Jay-Z, Diddy, Beyonce, and we're also going to be talking about what does it take to make it, whether it's in the record industry, arts and entertainment, or in any field where a person is trying to get ahead. Is mastery enough, or do you have to kick your way to the top? I think all of us throughout life have been used or felt used and abused by members of our own families, perhaps, or close friends, where we've seen other people succeed, but sometimes it was at the expense of other people. I had a situation when I was younger where this happens a lot in families, where a successful person will go off and they'll just make money and be rich, and they'll let the other family members take care of, say, an aging relative. And so the person that sacrificed their life to take care of those seniors is basically being ripped off by the rest of the family, right? Because they're not paying. They're going off and getting rich. They're making money off the back of the person that they're exploiting, who's picking up their mess. So one of the things that I've seen going into this energy of, making it in Hollywood, Illuminati, et cetera, is that the people that are sometimes making it, yeah, they've got talent, but there's this other aspect that we're seeing where crawling on the bones of other people, the ruthlessness. And so it's going to be really an exciting show tomorrow. The other thing is to just be aware of how media works in terms of manipulating opinions, like what's going on with Harry, Meghan, the royals, and how the media in Britain is heavily manipulated by the royals, that there are deals like with the Sun, etc. And it can cloud. We can all be influenced by media, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. One of the reasons I decided to be here to do a reading in the kitchen was because many of you asked to see my real home and also to see the cards. I'm using my laptop, which can go down like this. So you will be able to see the cards today. I'm a remote viewer and I do a meditation nightly before bed, and then I go to places in my mind. That's different than using the cards. However, sometimes I use what's known as a quick technique where I go into a semi-altered trance and I use cards to trigger me. And that is called HCRV quick technique. We teach both techniques here on the channel. Let's do the empath prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. So the technique I use is an ancient technique. We teach it as a secular technique, but it can be traced back thousands of years, pre-Buddhism to Tibetan. The Bond technique teaches this form quite a bit. But HCRV is found in some form all over the world where people meditate and try and connect. Right now, we are struggling with the remnants of not just patriarchy and hegemony, but we're also dealing with the remnants of eugenics. Many of you know I did my thesis on eugenics, and specifically eugenics and how the British aristocracy created the fake teaching, the fake science of eugenics. And it all goes back to Britain. And it was a fake science that was created so that the British aristocracy could maintain control. And it was a belief that they spread that white people, specifically white privileged people, were genetically superior and needed to be in control of things because mixed race people were inferior. The races should not mix. They lead to inferior breeding. So there are people, elder people in the British royal family that still believe in these strange archaic ideas. And so when we go into, in the very beginning, when I connect, the first time I made contact with Harry Windsor as a psychic was in the dream state. And I'd been floating in the dream state, and it was the opening of the Invictus Games prior to his wedding. And he was with Meghan, and he was shaking people's hands. And they hadn't gotten married yet. And in the dream, I came and shook his hand and wished him a congratulations. And we started talking about life for the average person. And Harry said to me, it's impossible for the average person to get ahead. This economy keeps the average person down. Like the man is keeping people down, was basically what I heard him say. And he said it with such sincerity that I was shocked and in the dream, and I didn't really know how to take it. And I walked away and I absorbed what he had said. And when I looked, I saw this look on Harry's face of horror, like he had let the cat out of the bag. And I remembered walking away and thinking, this guy's a democratic socialist. This is a Bernie Sanders person. This is a Bernie supporter. You're a Bernie guy. You're a democratic socialist. Democracy and equality, right? So that was the last thing in the world I would have expected in terms of a psychic encounter with Harry Windsor. But it would set the stage of everything that was going to come later. This war between the Tories, eugenics, and Harry Windsor and his biracial wife and their political views about democracy and evening out the playing field. And so there was always going to be a political conflict between these two camps. Now we have the Heritage Fund. The heritage is they want to preserve heritage. What do they mean when they say that the Heritage Foundation wants to preserve heritage? They want to preserve the white race. It is a clean, sanitized regurgitation of the KKK, of white supremacy, and specifically the heritage of the wealthy white aristocrats that helped build and take control over the United States to make it a mini Britain, so that America would never have a chance to be the democracy, the shining city on the hill, as long as you had aristocrats from Britain coming in and investing in the new country, the new land. So they have a vested interest to get Harry and his crazy ideas out of the United States and to preserve the heritage of their ideas about white men being in charge and maintaining this eugenic idea, which some have called, some people say that there's an Illuminati cult going on. What I think there is I think there are a small group of psychopathic people that have used blackmail for years to control other people. And that's what we're seeing with these parties, is an old scam. And maybe they're calling themselves, it's all fake. There's not really a religion behind it. It's really just a scam to blackmail and control up and coming talent. That is certainly what Roger Stone did. It's the art of the deal. Remember when we did remotes on Roger Stone? Hey man, it's the art of the deal. I blackmailed you. But now we're all blackmailed. Don't you get it? It's the art of the deal. We saw you, we have film footage of you raping a kid, and we all got film footage on us, and now we're all criminals in bed together. And the FBI is in our pocket. So that leaves the average person to ask themselves a question: how much hope do we have if this is the kind of crazy we're up against, right? So I'm just going to check and see what the outcome is going to be from Harry Windsor and attempts by the Heritage Foundation to get him. They actually have come out. This is how psychopathic and how threatened the royals are, that their pedophile rings and their corrupt money and their creepy relationship with Putin. You have to understand that the relationship between the Victorians and Russia is old. They're family, so they stick together. So there's some corruption there. And I think that's why Thomas Kingston took his own life. A judgment is coming regarding issues of karma and money. So there's money. The royals and, the aristocrats, we must preserve, right? We must preserve the white race, the master race. They're inferior, right? Mudbloods. He's reproduced with a mud. They believe this is real, right? They don't know Charlotte. Y'all keep talking about Charlotte. They don't know Charlotte. A judgment is coming. There was money behind this. A hidden man. There's a hidden man behind it. So there's a troublemaker. They're trying to break them financially. It's an attempt to harm them financially. Karma. See, the money. Much of the Windsors' attempts to make money in the United States, Harry and Meghan, goes to security. And I was actually in meditation with Harry Windsor a couple of nights ago, and I said, well, you guys are going to be a billionaire. You're going to have all this money. And And he said, yes, the majority of the money does go for security. And he said, but it won't end there. He said, my children are going to need security for the rest of their lives. And I thought, I was like, whoa, I hadn't even thought about that. It's like, sadly, they will need this for the rest of it. So the amount of money that Harry and Meghan are shelling out now, from Harry's perspective, when I connect to him as an empath, I feel the emotions of the other person, right? He said, sadly, they're thinking $1 million a year to per diem, is that into infinity? Like, as long as my kids, we have to think in terms of their safety for many years to come. I think that Charles would like this to stop. I think the harassment by the Heritage Foundation, they would like it to stop. You can see here from the cards, I know you guys want to see the cards. It's poverty, the man, the hidden man, and the issues of poverty, holding on to the coin. We can see here there's a karmic issue here due to some kind of love offer. This is the king. So I feel that if King Charles has any control over what these people are doing, he may actually ask them to back off. You can see here a clarification here is taking the swords away. Meghan is so strong. She always comes as the Queen of Rods, hopes and fears. King of Rods, the Red King. That's Harry. Harry, God, this guy, I'll tell you, Harry, he should be king, because there are not many men in the world like this guy. I mean, he is so strong. Be patient. They want her out, the grave over her. They want her. They wouldn't be happy if she was dead. Hopes and fears, betrayal, the final heartbreak. They are so opposed to him being with her. Look at what they're doing. They want heartbreak for Harry. They want him miserable and unhappy. The purpose is to break his heart and to crush him, because nobody leaves the mafia. Nobody leaves the Church of Satan, right? Nobody leaves you're not allowed to leave the Scientology. You're not allowed to leave the Church of Satan, and you're not allowed to leave the royal family. So there's this kind of, there will be consequences. Psycho. Let me, I want to see what happens to the Heritage Foundation, because the scary thing about the Heritage Foundation, which gets a lot of its money from predominantly white churches to preserve their white Christian heritage, is that when you're evil, you think you're doing good a lot of the time. Like the way that they have glorified their own, the sense of righteousness of their, it's very interesting, right? To see the way that they try to justify what they're doing. It's relevant to me because, well, first off, it's human rights, but I can't believe in 2024 people are being terrorized like this at this level of money for such a crazy reason. But you have to understand also, she's a Bernie person, right? So that's really a threat to them. They're not going to break up. This is something that the Heritage family has to get over, this fantasy. The only thing you're doing is you're trying to terrorize good people, and it just makes people look psycho. I think the FBI could come in and turn on Heritage, because King of Pentacles is also an FBI card, and their fear is the Queen of Pentacles, which is FBI. So Harry, look at this. Smoother waters lay ahead in happy marriage. They're building new dreams for their marriage. Boy, isn't that not what they want to hear? Raising money for polo events. Much hard work lay ahead. I told you he was going to be a teacher. The devil. Look, he carries the devil on top of him. A heavy load. This relationship with his family is like having the devil over him. Look at that tower coming. Look at these people. Leave the poor man alone. Justice. He wants justice. Can you imagine? Just because that going through this, you thought you had a father-in-law, mother-in-law from hell. Look at this. Tower coming in. The King of Swords. This is the battle. Fighting. Opposition gets its wish. So it's going, they want to be heard. The hope and the fear, the King of War, they fear him. They fear the Red King. The final outcome for him, he will build a new kingdom in the United States. Look at this. They're building a kingdom based on their values of what they think royalty should be. It exists inside of you. It is something that no one can take from you. Every day you decide to serve and walk a godly life or a righteous life. You are building your kingdom. Look at those cards. That's unbelievable. He pulls back his energy, his opposition. Look at this. King of Pentacles, the hidden man, the wish, the hopes and the fears, his destiny. The final outcome, he could be king. The king's card falls on Harry. What does this mean? What does this mean? Does this mean that Harry becomes the king, or does this mean that he spiritually and energetically is showing us what it is to be royalty? And it's not about a castle. You know, he shops at TJ Maxx. Come on now. It's about something that's inside of you, what Meghan talks about. It's your own commitment to your goodness. It's all part of the plan. What's your plan? As Meghan would say. You know, what's your vision? Be like Meghan, right? Have a vision and serve. And don't let the bad people get you down. And just keep on keeping on. And one day you will get to the top of the mountain. And every time you get to the top of the mountain, you make it easier for the next person. And that's what Meghan is doing. And that's what Harry is doing. It's been a rough road, but we will reach the top and show people this is how you help. This is how you serve. And this is how you don't let the bad people get you down. And in that sense, the Red King will build a kingdom. He will be king. He will survive. They will do fine. And they will build a kingdom right here in the United States. And they have taught us, they've taught me something. Don't speak ill of others. Don't talk trash. It only makes you look bad. Just keep on keeping on. Just keep on going towards the good. Be like Harry and Meghan. Just laugh about the detractors. Love on each other. Love with your whole heart. And just keep going towards the good. Going towards that godly kingdom. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about before we close is that people were asking me if I could talk a little bit about Kate Middleton's illness, etc. No, I asked permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. And so then when I look into the records, it's by permission. So someone's private medical documents don't fall within the category of what I'm allowed to see. If it's, I have to ask by permission from Spirit. It is not my business what the nature of her illness is. I certainly hope, I am a doctor, so I have my theories, but those are theories of a doctor and not what I do in my work. I can tell you, because I have been these people as a remote viewer, I can tell you what it is to be George. I can tell you what it is to be William. I can tell you what my thoughts are as Kate. But the degree to which I have access is up to the higher soul of the individual that I become. I'm an empath, which means that I am that. I am George. I have been George. So if I become George, and as George, I have information that I wouldn't be able to access if I am Kate, because everyone has a different perception of things. So recently, when William and George went to, I believe it was a soccer game, as George, I felt confused, and I felt like I hadn't had much of a relationship with my father in 4 months. I mean, I hadn't really seen much of him in 4 months. I was very confused. First off, he yells a lot and he can be really hard on me, so I'm a tad bit frightened of him. I see a lot of tension and fighting in the home when he's in the home, so I never know what kind of mood my father's going to be in. So I thought it was strange that he came, that I was picked up at the pub and I was taken with my mate to that particular event, because it's like a child custody handoff. That's right, what Tissatel said. That's exactly what it felt like. They're not together. And the other thing that people wanted me to talk about being Kate, I felt like I had been the victim of domestic violence. Now, I'm not saying that it's true. Take it with a grain of salt. This is for entertainment purposes only. I felt as Kate, I didn't want this man anywhere near me. He's not seeing me because I don't want to see him. So I'm not playing the game. I just need to get well. I'm over it. And he moved out 9 months ago. The lack of respect is the worst part for me as Kate. It's just that he doesn't even try to respect me anymore. That's been the hardest part for me psychologically as Kate. Not even enough respect to return my text. So you can imagine what it's like when we get together and have to do public events. At first, he would fake it, put on the facade, like for 2.5 years after we broke up, that we were having problems, that we were breaking up. Prior to Harry leaving, we were starting to break up. And our situation was very tense, et cetera, which is another reason why we weren't having people over at the house. It wasn't just Harry that was coming over, because we didn't want people to see that. So by the time that Meghan had shown up, we were already splitting. So I think that that's information that would be helpful for people. And then the last thing I would say as the empath is, as William, I felt very threatened by Meghan, because what she was basically saying to me was that my entire life was BS. That, yes, she was. Because she was criticizing the foundations that our family have been maintaining and the sacrifices we've made for centuries. And to have this person come in and attack and criticize when she has given nothing to this family. But I now, as William, feel that the real reason I was so angry at her is because maybe she's right. My entire life's been wasted on BS. My childhood, I should have been playing. I should have been a normal kid, but that was taken from me. The pressure that took Thomas Kingston's life for nothing. That's basically what Meghan was saying. That a lot of it's pointless and in some cases, well, she might be right, in some cases damaging, in which case, let's pull back the monarchy. Let's just pull it all back. I quit. And so I always tell people, now it's me again. I always tell people, to take everything I say with a grain of salt, and to just wait 3 weeks. Yeah. Might take a couple more weeks, but I am humble. I am, but after 30, 40 years of doing this for a living, you kind of just got to give people the report and take the hits as they come, right? All right. Thank you, everyone, for your kindness and your blessings. I hope this was a great opportunity to discuss and use it as a teaching opportunity to discuss false beliefs about race, etc., and how it's really, this whole nightmare has really, I think, taught us all a lot about just how entrenched these dark teachings are. All right. If you would like to get in for a reading with me, please check the information below. Please take care of yourselves, everyone, and be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.